There, I started selling custom AI and custom software to businesses. And, that was the grand entrance into AI. So, I'm teaching businesses how do you implement AI to actually have sustainable growth and a great return on their ROI. And from there, I mean, I was selling like $200,000 products. And I really learned there that, people, first of all, don't really want $200,000 products, but that's why I exist. So I try to teach people and businesses, you don't need a huge brand new software. People are kicking out software every single day. It takes 20 minutes for me to create an entire application that will do any job you want. It's that simple and it's that easy. If you have the skills, it's that fast.
When I first heard about the journey that we're going to go through today, I almost thought that Jackson met Jesus just by the way he described the guy that really changed his life. But later, more on that later, because he's done many different things: SEO, t-shirt design, plenty of things with tech, including AI. And he's only 24. But to start us off, Jackson, what was actually your first entrepreneurial venture?
Yeah. Well, so my first entrepreneur was a little bit different than most people's. I actually started with stocks. So I knew right in high school I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't quite understood what that meant. So I thought I was gonna be a doctor because I knew that made money. And it really hadn't clicked to me that really entrepreneurship is you taking time, learning the skills, and investing into that, and you can sell those. And that took me a while. So once I had actually met my buddy, and he had taught me a lot about like swing trading and how to do stocks, that really clicked with me. And that really had taught me, I invest some time, I get money out of it. And that became entrepreneurship for me. So that's why my first one was really stocks. And then I went from there to building gaming computers by buying old gaming parts off Facebook Marketplace and then building budget gaming computers for local high schoolers.
Well, stocks, that's normally where people end up, not where they start off.
No, not typically.
No, it's not the way around. Do you think you might end up there in the future?
I don't know. I don't I didn't really like the hardware. It was fun. Man, it was definitely interesting, and, like, I had to know about DDR3, DDR4, make sure that the motherboard fit it, and so it was one of those things, like, there was a surprising amount of capital. Like, you kinda just assumed, well, I was gonna buy $300 worth of gaming parts and then sell it for 400. Really, I bought about 560 gaming, you know, y pieces of gaming parts after $1,000 of mistakes and then sold it for $600. And after I made the mistakes, I started making some money, but there were a lot of mistakes. We started off with trying to buy a, old PC because we knew then we wouldn't have to buy Windows, it would already be pre-installed. But then the issue was is we had to connect the SSD to the hard drive. That became the next difficulty, and then so we were moving around operating systems and all kinds of crazy stuff to make it work.
So just to save a little bit on Windows, you probably spent 10 to 20 hours.
Looking back, there was a much
Not why
easier way to do that.
not worth it, just in the terms of time spent compared to the amount of money saved. I think that's a trap a lot of entrepreneurs actually fall into, is spending a tremendous amount of time saving a little bit of money. Where if you just made money with that time instead, you'd be up.
Right. Well, and that's where, we have to learn, right? Like, that's the thing, and I'm still learning, as you said, I'm 24, so we still really have to learn and we're never gonna be perfect, but that first learning curve is always a doozy to say the least. Um, I mean, how much entrepreneur I did, it was way more than what I wanted, but then I'd figure it out and it was really cool at the end.
Yeah, I always remember the first time just building my own PC with one of my mates. We accidentally switched microphone and the head, like the audio output and input around. very confusing. And first
Oh.
week it was a struggle. Like, what's happening here? But yeah, then you get
No, I
used to
did
it.
a we did a similar thing. We built the computer. Like, "We're done, we're done." And then it wouldn't connect to the Wi-Fi because we forgot the Wi-Fi chip. So this we had to tear it all apart again till we get the Wi-Fi chip into the motherboard. So close, but yet
One day.
so far. And then I remember how hard it was to find a Wi-Fi chip because I was looking on Facebook Marketplace. Like, just nobody was selling them. Like, I don't think anybody knew what they were. So nobody's like out selling a Wi-Fi chip. So we had to go to this local computer store out on a country road. Find this Wi-Fi chip.
All they do, from what I learned, there isn't much else than country roads where you live. So
Yeah, that's
kind of had to be.
it
If my
depends where we
friend,
go, right?
I was
Like where
there.
I'm at right now, there's a lot less. But where I grew up, so I actually grew up kind of on a farm. So my grandpa was a farmer.
Yeah, see.
Uh, yeah. And then my dad, we had a hobby farm. So we had sheep and they paid for my school clothes, right? But my closest neighbor was a mile away on each side. You know, like I wanted to go hang out with my friends. I was running for a mile or two to get there.
Huh. Guess it makes you feel. But
Yep.
progressing the story a little bit, you stopped computers uh, for a few reasons you mentioned, and moved into like an AI powered t-shirt design SEO brand tool. Put your own words to it, please.
I got you. Yeah. So really, uh, me and my buddy, you know, those NVIDIA chips came out and all those GPUs skyrocketed. So it wasn't affordable to keep building computers. It didn't even make sense. Right. We were gonna start charging people $1,300 for the crappiest gaming computer they were ever gonna buy. So after that, you know, I probably took a couple months off trying to find a new hobby, a new entrepreneur to do. And then me and my buddy come across Shopify. And by then, I'd already been playing with ChatGPT. So I actually that was one of my side gigs in college was training ChatGPT before it was ChatGPT. So they used to pay you. Like I would go and write 8-page papers about the redwood forest, or I would come up with a picture, describe the picture as thoroughly as possible, and they'd pay you for everything. So ChatGPT came out, I got right on that. It's so when I got on ChatGPT, you know, we were using it, and they didn't quite have the images, so, we were trying to explore and figure it out. So that's where I came across, like, Ideogram and Kriya. We started off with Midjourney, and there was, DALL-E, but Ideogram, all you entrepreneurs listening to this, Ideogram by far is my favorite, and then you combine it with Kriya, perfect image combination you'll ever find. There's not one better. Just go try it, you'll figure it out. And that's exactly what we used. And then got really good at Photoshop. Perfect mix of Canva and Pixlr. We're out there making images for our t-shirts. And yeah, so we started posting them on Shopify, and I had to learn about SEO there, how to actually start personal branding. It didn't take off, but we did it. We started it. We had t-shirts out there. I have a couple samples at home.
How good are the samples of something you wear on a regular basis?
You like a 6 out of 10, you know? But we had some really good ideas though. So we were actually out boating at the time. Well, so actually I was no, I gotta realign. We weren't he was a manager at the marina, and so I would go and hang out with him. So then we were, like, working on these T-shirts, and so they were all about boating. So, you know, there's no other life than boating, feeling salty, and then it's like a lighthouse and a boat, right? Like, all kinds of different boat boat images. Because what we called it, I forget, it was like outdoor shop, or it was some twist on that because I had learned you had to find a niche really early. So that's where I had tried to target myself towards outdoors. Because if you go look on Shopify and Etsy, even now, there's not that many outdoor focused fun t-shirts. And so the target was, how do I sell to the wife so she can go buy it for her hunting husband through Etsy?
That's pretty smart.
It didn't work, but it felt pretty smart.
Well, sometimes there can be many different reasons why something doesn't work. Unlucky, timing, execution, uh, just like a big hole in the strategy for whatever reason.
Right, right, right. Yeah,
Uh,
there was
well,
probably
why do you actually think it didn't work if you had to look back on it?
I would have to say consistency. Like, I would really hit it for a week or 2, and then I would disappear from it for a week or 2. So I was still in college at the time, so that was really taking a lot of my time, and I still had another job as well. So, I think if I had been really consistent, been on it, 6 hours every single day, 4 hours every single day, probably would have worked. But it was 20 hours one day, then I wouldn't come back, and then all of a sudden 10 hours one day. I wasn't giving it that consistency and the persistence that it really needed.
Looking back at it, do you wish you did something different? I know we can't change what happened in the past. God, for example, drop the job, drop college, kept the job, and went more in on that.
So with specifically the Shopify shop, no, I don't wish anything would have changed with that. I don't think I was designed to make t-shirts, but now I know how to do it. If I get get booming in business and get hundreds of thousands of clients, it's gonna be pretty easy for me to make a t-shirt for my company. I'm gonna have to next week actually, so I can show up at a networking event looking snazzy. But
You gotta
outside
put
of
it
that,
on something else than a t-shirt.
right, I don't need to have somebody else though do promotional products for me. But you were talking about, like, college and work. I don't regret any of the jobs I did, but believe it or not, I actually regret going to college. I thought I was gonna be a doctor, and so now I have a health science degree. I don't use it. If you wanna know nutrition, though, call me. I can help you out really fast. Um,
Um,
well, I learned a lot more outside of college than I did in. It's so funny. So we were talking about the stocks my freshman year, and I was literally showing up to my 8 a.m. biology class. That's when the stock market opens up here. And I'd have my laptop. I'd be taking notes, my iPad on my lap. I have the stock market, and I'd be trading while my professor's lecturing to me about algae and sharks.
well, I probably shouldn't be shaking my head. We were just sitting doing the CS:GO roulette with CS:GO skins instead.
Hey, we all have our
It's not better in any way, shape, or form. Just sitting there doing degenerate gameplay in class. Good times, good times.
Hey,
Yeah,
at the
I
end of the
was
day,
lucky
nobody really
actually.
likes biology class.
I was lucky. I was lucky. I think ours was actually like sales and service, something like that. But
Right.
maybe it was IT. IT was boring as was well. They gave you too much time to do a simple assignment. You'd be done in 30 minutes. Then you'd be gambling for the next hour. See?
Exactly, exactly.
But you talked about the marina.
Yeah.
Something else happened on that said marina.
Oh, man. Well, I don't even think we got into this on the free podcast call. So I actually had started working at McDonald's trying to get my college slightly paid for. And my buddy calls me. He's the general manager of this marina. He just got the job. He's like, I need help. Do you want to come down here and only at the marina? So I went and lived on a boat for 6 months. But that's where my next entrepreneurship came in actually, is I started detailing boats and cars. But see, I had a funny trick to it. I would tell them, "I'll detail your boat for $60 or your car for 45 straight." But see, that's so cheap
Yeah,
that
very,
people
very
would
cheap.
tip me so much. Like, people would hand me $250. I'd only asked for 60. So I intentionally had it. It was like $5 more than like the cost. But people loved what I did, and I would spend days doing their boats, or even, maybe it was a like whole day devoted to it. There was one guy, I remember, he was like, hey, I need this detail by tomorrow. Like, you think you can do it? I stayed up through the night, like got a flashlight on my hat. There, detailing this boat. But he
Oh.
paid me really well though. So, I mean, that was a really good way to learn too of how to kind of get people in the door, right? I mean, I remember telling him I'm gonna be done October 31st, and that's gonna be it. This is like October 30th. He's like, "Can you detail it, please?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm done. I'm done. I told you I've been done." Like, I was so busy detailing, it was crazy.
Well, no wonder you're the cheapest person around.
Yeah, I mean, probably just detailing. Yeah, I think I only did this for 5, maybe 6 months max. I think it was more like 5, but I mean, just through that, I made 17 grand. Just that. Only
Yeah,
2 or 3 days a week because I had so many boats to come in.
don't do that tipping strategy over here in Europe. We ain't as tip friendly. You will get 60.
Oh, when they would,
And a nice handshake.
very well, and I also sold it differently, right? Like, it would have been one thing if I was just like, "It's $60." Like, this is a kind of my entrance into sales as well, is I would, "Hey, it's gonna be $60. If you really like what I do, you can give me a good tip. Just tip me on what you think I deserve and how it looks." And that's why I got paid so well.
I think you get 80.
I said that didn't happen one time.
Oh, over here you would get used to it very
He
quick.
handed me $100 bill and he's like, "Can you go get me change?" I'm like, "Really? Okay, whatever. It's kind of weird." Okay. You know, and beyond me though. I don't know. I wasn't like a real business at the time. Like now it's a full-fledged business, right? It's everything's all signed up and I'm legal.
Yeah, I won't ask too many detailed questions about
No, it
your
wasn't like
detailing business.
it would be like, considered like a side hustle or a gig, right? So they would consider that like extra income. So
Ah,
I wouldn't get in any trouble.
okay, okay. I doubted you paid any tax on that.
No, there's no cash.
Yeah,
Cash.
over here you would get in trouble for that.
Well, and yeah, and they're
They
gonna
hide
pay
over
me
there.
for that too, right? But this is where I mean, it's like if you report it or not. So that's like a lot of people do cash simply because of that. Not for my business, by the way, just so everybody's aware. Just the detailing.
Yeah, wouldn't sit here and say those words if I lived in and then because that would
I didn't
be
elaborate so I don't have people calling me. Can you teach me AI in there? Like, look, I'll give it to you in cash. No, 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 no.
I was sure you could get it in crypto.
Well, no, it's interesting. So here, since I'm a consulting business, consulting, there's a sales tax. So I don't have any sales tax, but I will be paying tax at the end of the year based off the income I made.
Over here, you pay taxes on everything. They go,
Well, and it depends, right?
they
Like,
make sure they make sure.
I think there was 20 things. Oh, I'm still paying tax. I tell you what, they're still gonna get me.
I thought you're going to pay the sales tax as well.
It's
You,
just the sales tax.
you're going to pay every tax.
When I just learned about this when I was trying to figure out my own taxes for this, and there's like 20 different things that you can do here, and there's no sales tax. I think it's like 20, it might be less, but and that's also specifically Iowa because it changes from state to state. So even when I do, because I do a lot of my work virtually, I can have to go talk with people. So I have a client in Massachusetts, for example, right? But part of the agreement is that like I'll have them sign my contract, and in the contract we are following Iowa state laws.
So no sales tax. Smart move. Smart move. But you also met, well, who I thought was Jesus at the marina. Guy with the long beard and his
Yeah, yeah, my old man Jerry. I love Jerry Keller. He just texted me by the way, actually. So yeah, what Mr. Mads is talking about.
that's what I say.
Um, so I actually when I was at the marina, living there, I remember one day I had to go. So have you? I had basically go and move the docks. So that I had to winch the docks so that we were afloat. Yeah, yeah, it's a whole thing. But you get it. Still,
I was like,
yeah.
fucking
Those
with the
docks
dog.
move.
Yeah, some of it were for sure. On second thought, we
Oh yeah,
yeah.
all I needed was this one tool, and man, I could make those docks go anywhere I wanted to. And that was my job. So I had to go do it that
Might be
morning.
when my back garden mate.
Where's the cables and the anchor? Okay. I might need a floating garden. That sounds cool, actually. Then I can have a winch on there.
Oh,
But
it's
so I walk out of the store to go and winch and do my job for the day. And there's this older gentleman that's walking his dogs, and we just kind of get talking. And, that was part of my beginning of networking, actually. I learned to network about 6 months ahead of that. Not very good at it, mind you. I actually was just talking to somebody. So I just started networking about 2 years ago. And I just saw him like this week, and he was like, Jackson, it's like night and day difference. So when we first met, because he was my very first connection. So it's kind of cool to hear somebody say that to you, right? It's like so different. But I knew how to network. So I just said hi to this older gentleman. He was trying to teach me a little bit how to network, and that's how I actually got into my very first startup in, like, actual entrepreneurship, actual business. So there I started selling custom AI and custom software to businesses, and that was the grand entrance into really AI. So, I'm teaching businesses how do you implement AI to actually have sustainable growth and a great return on their ROI. And from there, I mean, I was selling like $200,000 products. And I really learned there that, people, first of all, don't really want $200,000 products, but that's why I exist. I try to teach people in businesses how, you don't need a huge brand new software. People are kicking out software every single day. It takes 20 minutes for me to create an entire application that will do any job you want. It's that simple and it's that easy. If you have the skills, it's that fast. And I don't code. I just know how to get AI to do it for me. And then I have some employees that double check it for me. Um,
that sounded so wrong and
no, it doesn't.
on a many different levels. Yes, it did the way you said it.
No, I mean, it's not. It depends on like what we're talking about, right? Like we're actually talking about creating like a miniature software. We make sure it's secure and stuff like that, right? But if we're talking like an MVP, then, that's a little it's a little bit different. It can take me 20 minutes, right?
Oh, I'm all meant like employees. It sounded like they were sitting in a sweatshop somewhere
Oh,
in your basement.
no. No, 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 no. I don't have them locked up in a dungeon anywhere. Don't worry. Just
But
warning.
it's not anymore.
Just warning.
But going back on track, could you actually share an example where like a simple off the shelf like AI tool could beat or be equal to a custom $200 AI solution?
Oh my gosh, there's so many examples. I mean, even think of like those AI note takers, right? So the reason why I mentioned that is there are softwares out there that you can buy for your company and have it white labeled and targeted towards you, where they'll build case studies based off your client and the conversation you have. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but AI transcripts, I can either throw that in ChatGPT or you have Fathom literally point out the most important subjects of that conversation. If you think about it, that's a case study right there for you to go and target them on that after that discovery call. So you got to remember there's I mean, that's a huge deal. That's so important as a salesman to be able to have the right targets and to be able to have the right way to get around objections. That's a big deal. And I mean, there are a lot of those AI website chatbots. When those first came out, right? They they were expensive because they were just software and they had pre-programmed answers. They would break all the time. And dude, if you get Zapier for $20, you can have 5 AI website chatbots. Just a thought. But I know there are people that still have the text message ones on their website. Chat with us. We can answer the questions, and they're just like the little buttons is all, right? Like
Hmm.
that's a huge one. A lot of like the dashboards too across with your employees. Like a lot of people customize those, but use make.com, Zapier, and N8N, and you can have those connections and literally have it connect to an Excel sheet and have it automatically update. It's going to cost you $30 minus the CRM, not including the CRM. It's great.
I found out there is actually certain versions of Go High Level you can buy for a one-time price, like at $97 for a
Oh,
lifetime deal.
it's
But
pretty smart. Yeah,
uh,
I found that
depending
too.
on how long you use it, you can get a very cheap monthly price. But a lot of the people we also speak to when it comes to the clients at Intersect.ai, AI agency I'm a part of, they all don't want to get involved with any of that. They're
Right.
like, no, 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 and no. Spending like 15 minutes to fill out a form.
Right. And this is where I have two ways to look at this for anybody listening, really. First off, just hire somebody. That's why there's people like me and Mads here, right? We do this all day. We will take care of you. We do a good job for a reason, and we're passionate about it. We understand that, it's not easy to learn. It's not it's not easy. It's a really steep learning curve. Once you have it figured out, you have it figured out. But till you have it figured out, it's a
And
struggle bus.
do you ever really have it figured out with the pace? It's moving up.
Oh,
I'll kind of argue not really.
I do so much research every day just to keep up.
And you're still further and further the gap is just expanding. You can't.
I know. Well,
Going.
somebody told me like there's 30 AI tools that come out every single day, like every day.
I would not be surprised if that might even be low.
This might be higher. Yeah. I mean, and that's probably more like an average, right? But
Might be like
again,
proper tools,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
not just like
But I mean, even like,
literally coding on a garage.
with the fact that I can vibe code, there's a college student in his dorm right now creating a brand new startup that, it might take off the year. Yeah, all he's gotta do is vibe code. So vibe code, by the way, for everybody who doesn't know, is AI coding. That's just a fancy term for it, is vibe coding.
Basically, you don't know what's going on the screen. It's magic.
It is, it's like magic. I love it.
You're just
Created,
the code of the vibe. This looks right.
I created a 4-way chessboard with that, actually. It's so cool.
Four-way chessboard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Where
like
as
it's,
ever do you need a like a four-way chessboard?
instead of it's a battle, it's a freaking war. That's what it is. It's like
You can see.
you can play with me, Mad, sometime. Don't you worry. Anybody else who wants to join, put a like and a comment.
A four-way chess match. Chess showdown.
We invite some people. We can show off our AI skills and have a great 4-way chess match at the same time. But we have to be allies. I mean, that's
I'm gonna take so much. Right up until I'm out.
you better be careful.
I'm gonna
I'm a chess man, dude. Don't you worry. I play chess every day.
leave a vibe code. I just.
I'm chess.com. So
Well, yeah, it's got to be a little bit bad. Can't be too good. Then you can't make dumb mistakes. Can't look.
no kidding. But yeah,
So we've had to put some names on your top 5 recommended AI tools. What would those
yeah,
names be?
and so I've done this before, and the issue I have you'll see what I'm talking about here, Mads, is you I could get really specific, but things I'm gonna recommend to a real estate agency, I'm not gonna recommend to a construction company. Things I'm gonna recommend to manufacturing, I'm not gonna recommend to retail. So I like to really quote general AI tools for you guys, and it's a good way to get started. Most of the people that are gonna be listening to this podcast are either probably just getting started or already know about these tools. Um, but the way I would start this off is really start off in ChatGPT. And I know everybody knows about ChatGPT, but I'm actually going to challenge the audience here. I want you to actually only use that for specific things. Use that for organization with the projects and also for strategizing because you can organize that in the projects and customer facing only. Anything that's outward facing, it is the most human sounding, but it also has the highest hallucinations. Stop using it for sources, use it for strictly outward facing and strategizing and have fun. Go try it out. Then I recommend trying out Gemini. Gemini is up to date. It's right there. It's a great place to start for coding. There are a lot of other code tools out there, but that one you can preview. It gives you a good way to get started, and then you can move to a higher, more advanced coding tool that will actually it will do a better job, but it's going to be more complicated to start with another tool. Also try out Perplexity. Perplexity I use for all my sources. Right now I've started actually doing the AI news every day meds. I don't know if you saw that, but when I do that, I use Perplexity. So I'm finding good, actual, accurate resources rather than simply asking ChatGPT and maybe saying some made up stuff. There's actually an example here in Chicago. Somebody had to make a newspaper article and use ChatGPT to write it. So he was putting books for the month, and 9 of them weren't real out of the 15. I mean, that just tells you the accuracy rate of ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT, but that's the accuracy rate.
I have like a feeling sometimes people set it up to fail because I generally feel I don't have that many problems with it.
Yes, I think it's just taking it for granted. Like whatever it says right off the bat as the right answer. Because I would agree. I actually don't have that many problems either. But you gotta imagine this guy was probably pretty specific on how many, like what kind of books he wanted, right? It was like really in deep on it. You know, because imagine if I was like, I want a mystery thriller. There has to be a detective in it. The detective has to be female, right? It has to also be like woke or whatever word we want to use, right? And you imagine the more descriptors, the less and less books. So, and this is the thing is ChatGPT is made to please. That's how you get more people to use it, right? So it's always I bet right now I could convince ChatGPT to tell me horses shit rainbows because it wants to say yes. It is trained to say yes because that's how it gets more and more people to use it. If it keeps saying no, I don't want to use it. There's better ones out there, right?
And if it feels like you got to allow it to say no, and then it will say it.
Yes, yes, I agree. If
Like
you tell
don't
it,
don't don't just give me a yes just because you want to. Like if this is not gonna work, say no. I don't mind something like that, or be rude to it. Sometimes that works.
right, right.
Actually,
That's
be
what I
like
do.
a
I'm just
cruel,
like, you
cruel
are
answer.
going to tell me the truth right now.
That can also work. But yeah, you gotta open it up to some extent.
Yeah, right, right. You have to, and that's actually a great way to put it, right? Once you allow it to say no, well, technically that's a yes, right?
Exactly.
Like that's pleasing, but I call it's the ultimate people pleaser. That's what it is, right? Um,
It really is. It
it
really,
is.
really is.
That's what it is.
You want a
But
yes man in your life? Get ChatGPT. Is that
yeah,
the message pays up the set?
hey, I ChatGPT is my greatest wingman. No, I'm just kidding. Although I did get it to say that yesterday. I was like, if I call you wingman, talking about you. But this is where you can actually use the memory in it. So I literally hold up, I can tell you word for word what I said here. Of course, I have ChatGPT pulled up. I said, I need you to set in your memory that if I ever say wingman or what reference wingman, I'm talking about you, the legendary ChatGPT. And right after, updated saved memory. And then, like, literally the next chat, I was like, what's up, wingman? And it knew what I was talking about.
You have
I use
too
the
much
memory in
fun.
my advantage, you might as well. It's just what it's there for. And that's why I do recommend ChatGPT for strategy specifically. No other AI quite yet. They'll all have it eventually, but we're just not there yet. ChatGPT is the only one where conversations bridge across chats with the saved memory. None of the other ones have it yet. They learn how you talk, but they're not going to be able to quote back to me what my business is, what I'm doing. ChatGPT is the only one that keeps that.
I don't know how many we actually got down the list. Might only been, was there only 4? We did
We got three. And so, like, if my next one
creativity,
would be Notebook
Entrepreneurial,
LM.
perplexity.
Yep. And then Notebook LM, without a doubt. Notebook LM is just, or if you guys are looking to DIY having like internal handbooks and internal chatbots for your company, Notebook LM. It's a great tool. Basically what it is though is it won't use data from outside what you give it. Only what I actually allow it to access. So anything I upload, any files, it's the only thing it will touch. So it has 100% accuracy. It can't screw up. And that's why that one is, if you're not using it, you start. Start. It's not start with ChatGPT, then go to Notebook LM. And the best part, Gemini and Notebook LM both come with your Google Workspace account. As long as you have the standard account, you have access to both. So you're already paying for them. You might as well use them.
And what is number 5?
Number 5 is make.com. It is because it's those automation connectors. Those are a really big deal. So if you're really trying to get really good with AI and really trying to, do my job for me, then do make.com. You can go more advanced to eventually Zapier and N8N. Both of those are more customizable. So Zapier is kind of your happy middle, but it's also the most expensive. N8N is more expensive than make.com, but make.com is not only the most cost effective, but the most beginner friendly. So you want to start with the automations, everybody goes to Zapier, go make.com. That you're going to learn how to do it. You're really good at it. And then you're going to move to Zapier and it's going to be a breeze.
Thought you'd move to N8N.
I have moved to N8N, but I'm talking to your audience.
I would just skip the Zapier. No need to learn a third system.
I do like Zapier. Zapier does have the most connections since they're the most shiny object. They have the most apps connected to it. They have the most API keys in there. So that's why I'm not a hater on Zapier simply because of that. But N8N, I'm with you, man. That is the most customizable. Like you could do a miracle work of things with N8N. It's insane what you can do with N8N. You can create Jarvis with N8N if you really want. I've seen it.
I'm gonna be impressed once the soup starts flying around the room.
Hey, I'll show it to you sometime, man. You can be jealous.
A soup. I see. I have a hard time believing a soup flying off a workflow.
I didn't say Iron Man. I said I had Jarvis. Those are two different things.
Yeah, like, but I want soup. Soup is the cool thing.
Well, Jarvis
Not a
became
robot.
before Iron Man. That's all I gotta say.
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
No, you're
The
talking to a
suit,
true nerd here.
suit is cooler than a.
The suit is cooler, but
You get my own. That's not impressive anymore. Java's like
it's all right.
entry level AI.
We can nerd out on our own time.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, what is one thing you would like to leave the audience with?
Just get started, really. If you don't want to get started, hire people. That's what we're here for. Um, we do this because we love it. And we understand that not everybody loves it. Not everybody loves AI or wants to use it. But really, I know everybody tells people, in the AI world. Go, go, go. You have to be using AI. If your business does not have AI, you're going to be falling behind. Really, my advice is get started. The fact that you're slowly implementing it will make wonders for you rather than long term. There's so many horror stories about businesses that just threw in a ton of different AI tools, thinking it's just going to replace everybody. They fire their employees. They're not a business anymore, or they're really going down. You don't want to be one of those horror stories. So just slowly start implementing it. But it's the turtle always wins the race. You know, be the turtle. Take the time. All of these tools are going to change and update. The reality is we're only touching the surface. 5 years, we don't even know what AI is going to look like. It's not, we can't even imagine because look at how it's jumped in two, right? It's a little over two. Actually, not even two, because November 2022 was ChatGPT, when it was commercialized, anyways. But really slowly implement AI. Just take your time, and if you don't trust yourself, seriously, hire somebody. So that's what we're here for.
Exactly. And where is the best place to reach you?
Oh, yes. The best place to reach me is on LinkedIn. So I'm Jackson Edens, Edens, or like the Garden of Eden with an S. You can also find me from my website. It's Eden Success Solutions, or so it'd also be ESSAIconsulting.com.
Perfect. I appreciate you today coming on the business library.
Of course, I always appreciate you, man.
See how fast you upload, and depending on how fast that goes, that's gonna like determine a little bit of the episode because I don't want to keep you here for a lot longer after it's done.
You want to hang out with me? I said,
Yeah, well, we can. I don't know if you have anything you got to do.
no,
So
I
it's
do.
like,
I'm just giving you shit, though. It's also, I'll try
Shit,
not to
those guys
curse,
we
though,
have.
on a podcast. That's a curse. I apologize.
I don't care. Go
Oh,
ahead.
really?
I'm giving it. I don't. Europeans is we curse a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, content is just like that. What I mean, you guys learned that in kindergarten. That's just part of the day.
Well, yeah, the European curse words are a bit interesting. We have one that is "let cancer eat me."
With cantery.
Like cancer, let cancer eat me. It's
Time to eat.
let the illness cancer eat you. It's basically the saying. Yes, that's the level of curse words we use.
I don't know. I think we have more creative ones. I want to say him, but it's recording, and I don't really want it on the internet.
Everything that's recorded happened if it like I forgot to shave earlier or missed a few spots, but it wasn't recorded, so it didn't happen. Now it looks nice. That happened. You see, but let me actually run the intro. This gone to shit already. Oh, this might be like cut out ending. I don't know something.
It's your podcast. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, this it's normally
Just
not
have to
bad
see
black.
you.
That's good to hear. That's a good start.